psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.
Hi, Joe. How are you today? Whoop, I can't hear you. Okay. It's just me
Hello.
There, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
My elbow is on my cord here.
Oh.
So, how are you? Where are you?
I am at my studio. I mean, not in my studio, I'm in my office. And the skies have been getting very dark at about probably maybe 5-ish.
Yes,
maybe even, yeah. And like right now, back there is where I usually have a curtain, but the curtain isn't up anymore. There really doesn't seem to be any reason for it. I just have like a simple piece of lace up there now, and it gets so dark I don't really have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, it gets very dark out here ever since we changed the time, of course.
Yeah.
And in Illinois, we have daylight savings time, so out here it's 5 o'clock. You know.
And we're getting about 20 up in the 20s now at nighttime, 20 and 30s.
Yeah.
So
I would
it's
have liked a little warmer November. But,
I know, but it doesn't usually happen. I mean,
no.
November is when it usually starts to get the first snow. But I haven't been known to have a few tomatoes that still hunt on the vine in November with a little bit of covering on them. And
here too.
Yeah,
here too. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So today, my cat went to the vet.
Oh, how is the cat?
Well, we found out he has a bad vertebrae in his back, and he just cries when he starts to get in certain positions. And my big old Bernard doesn't understand his strength, so he just kind of slaps him on the back, and I think it kind of put his back out. So we were thinking all the worst and put him in the vet, and they did little goggles like a biker on him, and then they did infrared on his back, and they gave him a shot for the pain, and all's well. So,
oh dear, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, that poor thing.
So what's going on with your daily life these days?
Well, it's the same thing we've been doing. We're still working on the windows of our house, trying to get the trim painted before the snow falls.
Oh my goodness! You can still paint the trim inside or outside?
Outside. We're trying to.
Wow.
But I think we may have to stop at some point. But
when it crystallizes and stops freezing, it's a little late.
Well, the paint job would have gone faster if we didn't have to replace parts of the frames, because it's an old house. So,
right.
It's start, stop, and then wait for things, So, it's being worked on. But still, it's one of those things that we're trying to do. I don't know if we'll get it done, but we have to try to get it done before winter comes. So I'm hoping that we have a few nice days this week, so that we can keep going. And
do you guys plastic up or storm windows up then?
Oh, right now nothing's up at storm windows. We don't have any plastic up. We don't need it just yet. We're trying to get it done before we get to that point. Gosh, I really don't want to have this going on when it's colder. So Yeah.
It's like
But
Christmas
all these
lights.
little things that you have to do to maintain, you know.
It's like
Um,
Christmas lights. I love putting up Christmas
oh
lights.
yeah,
It
so do
brings the
I.
gypsy out of my soul. I would
Yeah.
probably have them up all year long if I could have an excuse. But
Well,
it's just,
I have fall lights for the fall, and it's a string of solar lights I have around the door, and
okay,
they're fall colors, so they go well with
pretty.
Halloween, and I could keep them up until December, you know.
Yeah.
And usually I have additional orange lights for Halloween, and then in the fall after Halloween, then we just have the fall lights and the bright orange lights get turned off. And
There's a lot of people that
yeah,
do beautiful fall
I love
harvest decorating.
yeah, I love using the fall lights, and the colors they have now for lights are really nice. You have more choices for seasons. You know, they got the pink and pastels and blue for Easter. You know, stuff like that.
Yes.
And
And
I
you can
thought
get a
was
really
really
good deal on
sweet.
eBay if you get them from China.
Well, I think all those many of our lights. I think it'd be very hard to find something that isn't
I
made
know
in
it.
China. Yeah.
Yeah, I am really into bringing in the house plants. I call
Oh
it
yeah.
I call it plant alchemy. When you can
Yeah.
finally, when you get the sprayer out and you get them all situated and
Uh-huh.
balanced perfectly on the windows, and you add the little prisms and you add the little glass trinkets, and
Oh
then you
yeah.
walk in and it's like a rainforest, and it's just so cool. I love it. I always loved
Yeah.
going to one ever since I was young. I always loved going to the artists' houses that had these amazing lush plants on their windows, and I thought,
Oh.
boy, I want to be one of those people. And
And there you
and
are.
and, I, and there I am. And plant people give cuttings away just like home baked bread.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're a plant
That's
person,
true.
but I am a plant person.
To an extent, I buy the large, colorful things that are relatively inexpensive, and you know, like the tropic plants that come from the big variegated leaves, and I buy things that tend to you could forget to water for a while. I don't buy
Succulent
anything that
good for
is
that.
yeah, I don't buy anything that's takes a lot of attention. You know,
And
they have to be able to survive for a couple of weeks.
and that's when you use aqua water balls.
Yeah, yeah, we have a few of those,
We
and
I have about
yeah,
50 of. And
yeah, we don't have that many.
I got some ones from China where
Oh,
you pop out a cork and you fill the ball and then stick it in the plant, but you have to make sure that you get a tunnel into the root system that you can keep slipping the stem in, otherwise it keeps getting clogged up. But
oh,
I love house plants, and I love the
so do I.
essence. I think that plants communicate. Not only that, but
Well,
they give oxygen. So,
they do, and
and I
I think they're good to have in the house. I think a person should have house plants. I really do. And here we've got people, we have dogs, and we have plant and animal. So, but yeah,
do you do
I
fish? You do fish?
no, not anymore. I used to
Not me
have
either.
goldfish. I used to have a goldfish, and I had a large 20-gallon tank. It was a long, short one because goldfish like to swim back and forth. And I had them for about 17, I don't know, for 7 years. The same fish for 7 years. I had three
Awesome.
of them. And then
I,
I moved. I moved, and they didn't survive the move. It was a half hour drive from where I used to live, and on the way they survived the trip, but they were gone the next morning. They didn't like the trauma, so
well,
yeah.
they get ick really easy if they get stressed out. But
They do, and the thing is, even though I was very careful, it's been a long time since they were transported. You know, they went from pet store to my place when they were young, but 7 years later, they just could not make that trip, and so they were
I
gone, and
had,
that was
at one time,
yeah.
I had a 200-gallon tank,
Oh
and
my,
I had to actually strip down to my bra when I was cleaning because I didn't have the
yeah.
money for the kind of the system, so I'd get dry. The angelfish were probably that big, and the Picassomus was about that big.
Those
And
get
and then
huge. Yeah,
then
they
I
get
went
huge if
from
they're
that
well fed.
then I went from that to saltfish, and went
Oh,
to and to had to then you get into measuring your gravity for your keeping your plants alive, or your
oh yeah.
keeping your saltfish. And I remember traveling 50 miles to get lionfish and little polka dotted psychedelic striped fish, and then
It's
you would
really an
then
addictive hobby. It
yeah,
really
until they
is.
die,
Yeah,
and you've got 50
yeah.
$50 down the toilet. I would just go into a panic, and I would run to the Rexall and I say, "Is there any way you could give me penicillin for my saltfish?" Well, we really don't think that penicillin can go in saltfish, Anne. So it was
Oh
like,
yeah.
you really, if you get into saltfish, have to have the whole setup, and
Well,
they've got some
I had
great.
the fresh water, and there was medication. There was antibiotics for them, if they
Yeah.
had something. And I had a bite a couple times, and I almost killed them all when I brought in new fish. I didn't wait
Oh
enough time,
yeah.
and they almost all of them. I had to treat the water with this blue stuff that was going to either kill them or
Yeah.
cure them.
I
And
know.
it cured them, but it killed the new fish that brought it in, which is really
Wow.
ironic. And after that, I decided, when the fish didn't travel well with the move years ago, I decided that that was an expense I wasn't going to keep up with anymore. It was just too sad to have these fish for so long because I got really used to these little guys. They're very much aware.
Oh, they follow you around.
Yeah, yeah, and you get very used to them. They become your pets, really,
They do.
and they have personalities. And I thought it was. It's the thing is, it's too easy to mess up with fish, and it's true what they say. It's always your fault. No matter what happens to them, it's
Ah,
always your fault. And that's one of the things that they stress in all the booklets I had gotten. My father had given me a ton of them because he used to raise fish for feeders. He used to sell them to the pet stores then. He would raise guppies for, and then he'd sell them.
oh
And
yeah. It's
yeah,
odd. I could
that
never
was
keep
something that,
guppies.
pet stores used to buy them. They used to, no, because they were feeders. A lot of times the guppies were used for bait, you know. So,
Some of the fantail guppies are beautiful.
yeah.
And I remember once having I really splurged, and I got 25 neon blue fish.
Oh, how
And then
lovely. Yeah.
I looked on the
Yeah.
next day, and I had 7, and a
Yeah, they
very,
kill each
very
other.
fat shark.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
see,
found out
that's
that
why,
angelfish just go
yeah,
and they're
and that's
gone, and
why
it's like, oh my god.
if you have a fish community, mixed fish, they always say, are they going to get along and are they going to eat each other? And that's
Yes.
why I stuck to goldfish and the large snails. And the goldfish usually didn't bother the snails for months. And then all of a sudden, I'd look at the tank and I'd see the empty snail shell and the little door ripped off of it. It's like the fish decided, oh, let's have meat today.
Yeah.
Let's just
And then
kill him
you
and get,
watch with
yeah.
horror.
Yeah,
Well, I
well,
want to
I
say
never
hello to
saw them do
Brittany.
it.
Or no,
Hi,
wait, let me see.
Brittany.
I'm trying to. I guess I have to
Brittany there?
go. Wait a minute. I'm not sure. Um, okay, yeah, these are our guys. We have Brittany from Connecticut. We have Carrie from Ohio,
Brittany.
and we have Michelle from Florida in the call room. So I do want to say that anyone that wants to call in for a session, um, you know, how lucky are you to get 2 seasoned readers? And you know what? You don't have to even give. your real first name, because
Yeah, we don't need it.
we just read on your energy. So if you want to call in incognito, if you want to put one of those voice disguisers on or whatever, so nobody can I would give kind of entertaining.
Well, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. Try doing an accent. That would be fun.
yeah, we will read
Speak in an accent.
your energy past your accent, past your fake first name, and love to give you a reading. So hello to Brittany. Hello to Carrie from Ohio. We have Jan from LA. So let's start out with a phone reading. And please know the number to call in for a phone reading from Joseph and I, who just gave a nice topic on psychics and fish. So now we're going to before we go into phone reading, I do want to say today I did want to discuss seasons of the cards that represent seasons. I don't give specific time frames because time is approximate, and I also am a certified reader, so I only read for the time frame of 1 year. However, a season is in a year. So I do want to say that if you are a tarot reader, or if you are a novelist reading cards, the wands represent spring. The cups represent summer. You also have winter or August represented by swords.
Of course.
And your pentacles will represent winter. So again, if you're a tarot card reader or you read,
what does the swords what does the swords symbolize?
Autumn,
Is that fall? And then
fall,
and then winter was the
pentacles. Because pentacles represents accomplishment and financial gain
why does it make me think of large snowflakes? Yeah, I could see how that would work. I'm just trying to see how they would be. Okay, I could see the rods, because the rods are always they usually show them
spring shoots.
yeah, there's usually shoots on the rods, and they also symbolize work.
Cups represent beer drinking in the summer.
Yeah, and then cups. Well, yeah, and actually too, cups and bounty. My cup runneth over. That's when everything is alive and growing and beautiful, and that makes perfect sense. And then the swords being autumn. Is that right? Yeah, I could see that.
That's kind of like get your ass in gear because
Yeah,
the shit's
and
going
that first cold blast of wind in the first bout with the flu or something. Yeah, that's a knife. That's a sword. It's discomfort. When we see the swords, we have to fight, and we have to fight our way to work. And yeah, I could see that. And then the snowflakes, the pentacles, the coins. And winter, yeah, staying in and using your money, because you can't really do anything outside. So you use what you've saved, and you use what you've earned. From the summer months. You have your canning and you have your money saved, and now you have to stay indoors and you have to spend a bit of money to stay warm.
Come up and the wands start again.
Yes, and then we have the wands again in the fall. I mean, in the spring. So that's nice.
Yep.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Okay, so
I could see that.
we have Annette who's in the chat room, and she says, "Hi, Joseph and Anne-Marie. Could you tell me what you pick up with the energy of my coworker named Jackie and myself?" So, Michelle, I'm going to get to you right afterwards. And then I'm doing Annette because it's such a pleasure to have someone in the chat room. I truly do appreciate it.
Annette has the one with the person at work. Annette and
could you tell me what you pick up with the coworker named Jackie and myself?
Okay. Alrighty. Annette and Jackie. Yeah, I had to reshuffle those.
Okay.
Alrighty, Annette and Jackie. Let's going on with that energy, kiddo? Well, what we got here in the past, we have the Hermit, and it's upside down. And I do see that, in the past, and that tends to maybe be a little stubborn, and maybe doesn't really have enough information on people, tends to act without the information in the past. And I do see, Annette, that you used to be rather distrustful. It's not easy for you to like people that are new, that are brought in, I think, especially in the workplace. You might think, oh, great, another person to train. But I do see that in the past, you always did better if you stopped and really relied on somebody else's judgment regarding hires and stuff. There's some things that you tend to miss. I am seeing that. Okay, I'm seeing a question right here in the Seven of Swords. It is upside down, and I do see that you need to watch for arguments, and I do see that. When somebody's doing their job very efficiently, try not to see it as a personal attack on you, or if they happen to do it better, always consider that is why you hired them, and that is why that person has been hired, is because they do their skills, they do their job very well. They would not be at this point if they did not. But you're going to always have this doubt, and you're being encouraged that it's going to get you in trouble. So you are being encouraged to have a little more benefit, to give others a little more benefit of the doubt. And I do see that that as you face up to your own responsibilities, you're going to get along a lot better, and things are going to work out well. These are experiences that we learn from things in our life, but you are being warned, like, don't hoover over this person, and don't act distrustful, because when you act distrustful of others, there's a psychological thing that happens to them where they have the thought, well, then if you don't trust me, then maybe I don't have any reason to trust you. And so even though you have been let down before, try not to let that show. Try not to let that make you bitter. Now, I do see things working out as in the Eight of Cups in the near future. I'm seeing over the next 8 weeks to 8 months. And I'd say it working out around spring, because that would bring us towards spring if it's 8 months, or in the middle of that. And I do see that you still have you're being warned not to be too ruthless concerning money, and I am seeing that you're being warned not to sacrifice values and people over money. There are some things that money cannot buy, and there are ups and downs where money comes and goes. Okay, but you cannot. Don't get so wrapped up in your finances that you end up losing what you cannot buy. Okay, so time away from your friends, time away from your family, the peace of mind and the relaxation that you might need. Don't sacrifice those for this insane fixation with money. I mean, money's great. Gotta have it. I know it. We all have to live with it. We can't live without it, really. But don't let it become such a consumption that you sacrifice everybody for the sake of a corporation. And if you think that turning on, not sticking together, sticking with coworkers that you know are right, and if you choose on the side of where you work, that's not going to last forever. Don't sacrifice people. Don't sacrifice your contacts, because very often people that do that for the sake of a job, they find themselves out of that job very soon. Even, there was no way that they can save themselves, and all their friends have been fired. So always make sure that you do stand with each other. That is important. Things should work out between you and Jackie. as long as you focus on the person, not the money. Okay? All right,
Okay,
go
I'm
on.
going to add my 2 cents worth.
Yeah,
Okay, it says, Annette, that I did already 2 readings on this. The first reading
really?
said that it started out that one of you felt like Joseph said, as the teacher or mentor for the other. But there's a sense that this person, whom would be the other lady that we are reading on, didn't, one of you at least wanted to be more playful, was not as responsible as the other one, which may make you feel as if somehow your efforts have gone astray, as if somehow all the training and all of the hard work of connecting and being a good mentor has kind of gone to the wayside, as she seems to be drifting away towards other people. There's a feeling that you need to learn your lesson about this, because it says you are someone that tends to give your all away very easily. But be sure that you do it to the people that appreciate you at work. And that includes, don't be giving secrets away that you feel are private. Because if you're around someone that's friendly 1 minute and then all of a sudden irresponsible the next, there you are with all your secrets at work going around the room. So what your reading says is, be very careful and understand it may be time for you just to turn your turn away from this person and realize you did your best you could. You can't grasp on to someone. You were a great mentor, you were a great friend, but now it's time to let this person go, because they seem to be drifting away either towards another clique or another group of people. And don't feel abandoned. Remember, friends at work aren't really real friends. They're just um, they're coworkers, and coworkers are not the same as friends on the outside. But it's always important to get along with them. But don't give secrets away to coworkers,
Right.
because you never know what you've said is going to go flying around, and it's dangerous stuff. And
Yeah,
that's what I have.
sometimes coworkers become your friends, and that's fine.
Well, I
But
married mine, but
yeah, yeah. But I want to say there are certain people, and I think Annette might be one of these, where you rely a lot upon work for your social. And actually try not to make your whole life at work. You've got to have friends that exist outside of that world, and you have to have a life and activities that don't always involve the work people and everything involved with work. Because when those jobs do come to an end, and all things do usually, either by retirement or by some other reason, then you're away from that world and you have nothing. And you did not work on your personal world. And so that is why some people do very badly when they leave positions, leave jobs, retire. And then some people do quite well, because actually the job was not their life. It was, since it wasn't their career and not something like they loved to do all the time, like a hobby, um, they didn't. They saw their jobs simply as what they are. They are business agreements, and the whole purpose of that
sounds
job is so
neat.
that it's a business agreement. And the people that you meet, yeah, they'll be nice. Maybe, hopefully, we want to get along with them. But don't be relying on the work world for your true personal world and stuff that makes you happy. Okay.
All right, we have Michelle from Florida on the
Hi,
phone.
Michelle from Florida on the phone.
Yay! Can you hear me okay?
You
Yes.
betcha. What can we do for you,
Okay.
girl?
Oh, well, I was looking to do a reading for me. I am kind of curious to have any spirits around me, but my biggest thing is I'm helping my daughter getting some tutoring. She's trying to pass her ASVAB test for the military. She's tried twice, so we got a tutor. And she takes the pre-test on the 13th, and then if she gets a high enough score, that she'll go and take the real test. So I'm just curious how you see her passing on that, and where do you see her maybe leaving for boot camp, and where she might be stationed at.
Okay, please understand that we read on names. We don't give you names. We are not a roadmap. So if you have a place where you would like us to read on, that would probably be the best thing to do, Michelle. But let's look. There's a lot of information here, and let's go with one question because we have others in the room.
I'm doing a general look.
All right, let's okay. Get her on the phone. We'd rather read for. We love you, but we'd rather read for her.
I'm right here with her.
That's
all
okay.
right. Hello, dear.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, what's your question? Give us a question.
Oh, dear.
I
Anything.
want to see like where I'll be stationed at probably, and I'm thinking of like.
Do you have an area that you want us to read in? Because we don't give roadmap readings.
Yes, I was thinking of Washington State.
Okay. Do you want me to start this, Joseph?
Why don't you start it off?
So if I look at Washington State and look at, is that where you are going to be stationed? Actually, I'm shown no. That there's a sense that will not be the area that you're going in. And how about if I look at those tests? Because I think that's what Joseph was looking at to begin with. Are you wondering if how you're going to do on those tests?
Yes, big time. I'm very curious about how I'm going to do on the test.
And what do you call those tests again?
The ASVAB, ASVAB.
All right. So if I look at how will you do on the tests, I am shown you're going to shine like a diamond. I have you doing very, very well and with great potential and without even having to try that hard. So I think the two that you failed maybe were like taking first grade over again for a lot of us, and it says that you'll do great. What do you have, Joe?
Well, I got the sun for the present day, which is showing that though I'm seeing that though you had the failure, that you had some failure in your life, and actually something recently you failed at. I'm guessing it's one of the tests. And you have the doubts. I'm seeing all that doubt in the sun, which is upside down. But I am seeing good news. I am seeing that the end result here is the Magician. And that means that the road that you're currently on and everything that you are actually doing at this time now is going to come to fruition, and you're going to do well. And I'm saying that with the Magician, you're going to pull this off, okay? But you're also being told, don't get lazy just because you're hearing this. You have to push. You have to work at it. So continue what you're doing. Continue on that path, because I see it being magical. I'm seeing that you're going to find yourself very much in your niche, and it's going to feel like somebody cast a wonderful spell.
I'm going to add the season for that. I have you in around a comforting and a nice home environment in spring, which I don't know if that means where you are now or a whole entirely different home, but a huge celebration is coming for you in summer. And it shows you just yay in summer, happy, happy, happy. And in winter, I show you rocking with all kinds of accomplishments and pride, and you're really doing great. So that's what I have.
I'm seeing that it will be definitely an improvement over things in general. And since that Magician, in my card, he's always outside, and he's surrounded by lush, while he's doing his magic. And that's very appropriate for spring and summer. I mean, just looking at the card, it's a very pleasant thing. So it all seems to. I would say that I agree that you're all of this hard work, and keep it up, keep it up, keep going. You're doing good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're very welcome.
yeah.
Okay, we have Brittany from Connecticut. Could I please have a reading? I'm feeling very confused about the direction my life is going.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Do you want me to start or do you want to go?
Yeah, because I have to shuffle. Why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so if I look at Brittany, what comes up around your spiritual path and regarding your life? It shows in the past, especially the past 10 months, it's been all work and no play until all of a sudden a crisis happened. Either everything that you thought you could count on fell apart, or you may have had something screwy happened in a job, or there may have been a sense that just what you had hoped would be something appreciated by the people around you was not. But guess what? It says you are at a time, the lull before the creative storm. I don't believe that we have losses without a reason. I believe stuff that does not work out often is just our angels kicking us in the butt, getting us in the right direction. And I believe that you are getting in the right direction. I'm showing you either with a new commitment, a new job, or a new level of work, and that though it may not necessarily be as high paying or as maybe as influential as what you had in the past, boy, the friends and the connections around you in the future are amazing. So you're at the lull before the storm. Creative potential is happening. You lost something big, but don't worry. It was supposed to happen so you could feel better about you. And you will feel better about you in the future. So, Joseph.
I I am very glad to see that things are going to improve because they are. I do see that in the Three of Cups. I just want to touch back on what we look at the past. Pardon me. Boy, these guys you used to know really suck. I'm sorry. These guys in your past, we have the Knight of Pentacles upside down. You know, people that were not, oh, you might have learned from them. The guy in the past, oh, attractive, but more involved, more obsessed with things and status and money and success. Very stubborn, but just not really warm and fuzzy. I mean, this is somebody that probably was a good boss, but since he's upside down, the more negative, unpleasant aspects were something that you always had to deal with, even though the person wasn't good at what they do. And yeah, they were reliable, maybe, but they're just, I don't know, maybe they made you cry a lot because they're just. And at the present time, I do see that there's another guy, and he's a Knight of Cups, but he's upside down. He's attractive, he's nice, he's a bit prone to jealousy, and he's got his mood swings, and maybe he's not altogether stable in terms of how he feels on a daily basis. But I also see that he's not stable in anything that he does. I mean, he is most likely to make you very disappointed, and I think he's another guy that's going to make you cry. But I do see it working out. Now, this is the present time. He might have just left you, or you might be thinking, I've had enough of this. Well, that's what the cards are reflecting. I do see things working out. Whatever you are going to work on, whatever you are going to decide, if you stay on the path that you're currently on and stick with your guns that you have chosen here, I would say this is going to lead to the Three of Cups in the very near future, say a few days, a few weeks, and you're going to start to see the seeds from it now. Threes all over the place. It means that it will work out. You will get a reward for having put up with all the nonsense, and your harvest will come in. You will have abundance, and the things that you have been working on, you will get rewarded for. It will come to fruition. So keep working on it. And I'm happy to see that these guys are moving on out of your life because they were making you unhappy in some way.
All right.
Okay.
We have Carrie from Ohio who says, "Can I get a job reading? In the job
Carrie.
I have is low paying and high stress. I get blamed for things while the guy I work with gets away with murder, so to speak. New job soon?" This is from Carrie from Ohio.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I'll do a quickie on this and then you can go on it.
Okay, go ahead.
So if I look at Carrie from Ohio and I look at, will you get a job soon? And what comes through on that says, where there's a will, there's a way, Carrie. And I'm shown that you are so done with this job that it shows you finding a job or connection through a friend or a connection that you already know. And that this time you're going to learn from the mistakes you made at the past job, whether that was just letting people step on you or letting people get promotions and raises over you by not speaking out. My feeling is, Carrie, that you have learned a lesson from that. Take it with you to the next job, which is seen in the time frame of, and I have 12, which would make it December. So I feel that there is a new job in about, well, and I'm going to say probably a month and a half. And I feel that as where there's a will, there's a way. Just learn your lesson from what went wrong in the past. Speak out. Don't let people step on you. And for sure, don't let people get the raises and promotions you should be speaking out for. And that's what I see, Joseph.
I do see that she gets her
This
inspiration
guided
from somebody
meditation
in
will
the
help to
past.
align
Excuse
your
me.
energies with the Earth's energy.
Hello,
Lana
I'm
got
talking.
in there.
Lana, hi Lana. Oh, I do see that as an influence, you have this wonderful emotionally well balanced woman who has been sort of like a mentor and has been very wise, and that is the person that you would like to have for a boss. Actually, this might have been an older boss, but it is someone who taught you things. And I am seeing, at the time being, I am seeing that there's just no magic here at this. You're in a situation where the job kind of stinks. I do see that it's not going to work if you try to play their same game. If you see them pulling a fast one on you, I do see them doing things to you that seem unfair. I do see that, but you can't become like them. Okay, even though it's really tempting, you can't become like them. Don't become like them because it won't work for you. You'll get smacked down. They won't. You will. Okay, I do see that. Yes, I do see the new job possibilities being there. I do see that with the King of Wands, but he's upside down. So what you have to be careful of, and you'll notice this right away when you meet them. Hopefully, you'll see it right away. But I do see that this might be someone who's somewhat intolerant of other people's lifestyles, or possible intolerant. He might have prejudices. I'm seeing it as a king. It's male energy, and he's the King of Wands, and Wands work, spring, and also he's upside down, which means he's not using his powers for good. So you might have a corrupt boss in that new job. So you got to be careful. They're closed to new ideas. He's not a real receptive person. That's something you're going to have to work with. But that's an up and that's a down. And like I said, and if you stay above board. And I will stress this. If there's anything that these people do that you think that you've been considering maybe reporting to the personnel office or making an actual doing an actual complaint where it's in writing, then you might want to do that. Don't think you don't need to do that, because that becomes your evidence later on, and that might be helpful in dealing with certain people when they cross the line. Okay, so I am seeing things working out. but you need to be careful. And it's like, yes, you want to make things work, but don't let there may be something actually behind what's happening, okay? And it may be that some certain people just have not taken kindly to you. So in the future, keep your bases covered. And as I say, CYA, cover your own,
Cover your own
uh,
ass.
yeah, cover your ass. And, actually, I mean, I've known people who have tried to work things out with new bosses and new jobs, and they've tried to be nice to them, and they've let things go, and they never should have, because all those things that they let go could have been things that could have saved their own job and could have ousted that boss. You see what I'm saying? So,
All
you
right.
know,
We have 10 minutes and two
that's
more
what
readers.
that's my
Two more
that's what the
readings.
cards are saying. Okay, so all
All
right,
right. Thank you so much there,
sure.
and we appreciate you coming through. So we have Jan from
Hi,
LA.
Jan.
We know Jan. And it says, "Hi, Anne-Marie and Joseph. Enjoying your show. Could I have a reading in general? Thanks." I'll go first
Yeah, okay.
because you just did one.
I did, didn't I?
And so if I go with Jan and just look at what comes up in a short general in the last 10 minutes,
So
Jan, the first card that comes up on you says confusion, feeling a little bit shaky right now. There's a sense that you have a chance to grow, to be able to have a different, more happy job, or that you may find that there is some kind of property or some kind of accomplishment that you could bring into your life, and it looks good for you. Your reading says, though, that be careful of getting in your own way. Don't allow yourself to put up boundaries on something that seems too good to be true. Because in the past, it says sometimes you've had situations that you tried but didn't work out, which caused you to be paranoid of sometimes the things that are good that you should take advantage of. Your reading shows in the next 3 weeks happy days around the holidays, happy times, and it also shows in the future a sense of a new beginning. So I feel that you're going through a transformational change. The holidays mark a new, maybe 10-year episode where you're ready to try something new in your life. Remember, don't put up boundaries because of scars that didn't work out for you. Make sure in the new transformation you just avoid those red flags and head for the opportunities that are shining like stars. And that's what I show for you, Jan. Okay, Joseph, go for it.
Yeah, well, Jan, I'm seeing in the past, the moon upside down, and it's almost like a tower card. But in this particular card shows that in your past you've had your faith and your expectations and things that you thought of all the time as being tried and true and reliable. You've had some losses in that, and some reality loss. Just personal faith and ethics have taken an attack in your past. But I do see that at the present time, I do see that money and like almost like something that comes to you as an inheritance of sorts. I do see at the present time that even though it's great, it's nice, and it helps to have this money, but also you're being cautioned is to not to try to keep all the money for yourself, even if you are pretty darn sure that you should and that you're entitled to keep it for yourself. You have to consider the other people who are going to be also who are also feel the same way about this money. And you can keep in mind that this is going to work out for you, but don't try to control the situation. I am seeing that you're being cautioned against being a control freak because you really do think things should go a certain way here. But it will work out. It will work out. Just be considerate. Try to be generous. You don't like Anne-Marie said, there are things that are coming to you that you should take advantage of. Yes, But you're also being warned not to be a control freak about it and not to be greedy and to be considerate. Okay, I am seeing that as long as you learn to trust in the experience of others, there are people who know their jobs better than you know their jobs, right? So there are people in your life who have more experience dealing with certain things. So you're being encouraged to listen to them and not to try to do this by yourself. Okay, you're being encouraged to use the skills of others in the near future, and to be a little more, and to give them a little more benefit of the doubt. And you cannot take this all on yourself, and you shouldn't. Okay, that's my reading.
All right, we have one more in
Okay.
5 minutes and 56
Yeah.
seconds. But we did have 2 card displays to put up. So this is pretty important. It seems it's for Russell. And Russell says from Cleveland, Ohio, school is a struggle for me. How is the rest of the term going to go? Russell from Cleveland.
And if I keep thinking of it, I keep seeing a college.
Well, let me look real quick here, and I'll just do a fast one on Russell in the school. Russell, what I'm shown is to please pay attention to struggles that are followed by obsession to study, followed by a sense of wanting to run away and party, or wanting to run away and get away from the very thing that you tried so hard to excel in. There's a sense that you need to watch out for your personal time out, because what will happen is that some of your time out is causing you to feel like you're abandoning all of the things that you worked hard for. I do not feel that you are incapable of finishing the year in a very great way, but I do warn you that don't go into like what I call spider hops, where one episode you're studying like mad, then the next you're giving yourself a little time off, which ends up putting you backwards and self-sabotaging. If you can pay attention to that, I believe, and be consistent, maybe not so much cram studying at the last minute, but consistent studying, you will find that it works out perfectly for you this year. But if you don't and you fall backwards into that, leaping into the timeout, it'll go bad. So that's what I have. Okay.
Well, I do get the acknowledgement that he feels overwhelmed, because I pulled up the 8 of Swords, and it's that person surrounded by 8 swords, and they're bound. And so I do see that he is overwhelmed. He definitely is overwhelmed by, also there's some personal issues that he's letting get in the way, perhaps, or perhaps friendships or things that are making you lose sight of your original goal. And so you're being reminded about why you're here. So you take these things one at a time, and all that relationship stuff that when you're in college, or school, that takes care of itself. Okay. Don't lose sight of what you're trying to do, and don't let other people distract you from achieving what you want to do. You're in school because you want to do well. So, and it seems overwhelming, but you know what? Like Anne-Marie says, the cards here are saying that if you just keep your nose to the grindstone and plug away at it, because you also will learn shortcuts when you do that, because there may be similarities, there may be information that crosses over. You will work this out. I do see that working out fine. Every semester, everybody goes through that. Even I went through that. I just didn't know how I would swing it. I just didn't. You just find yourself doing it, and it does work. Just do it, and just be in the moment. You know what you have to do, and you do what you do. I do see solutions to the problem, but this is a stick with the thing. You have to stick with it, and you need to have a clearer head. So watch the partying. You are there for a reason. You are in school for a reason, and try to have a clear head, and you can make better decisions that way too. Okay.
All
And
right.
I see it working out for you though.
Okay, we have 1 minute left. So, Joseph, do you want to give your
Yeah,
uh
that would be
your
nice. That would be
mhm.
nice. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just clear our heads, and now that we're into fall, and I still sound like a kazoo because of the
No, you don't.
allergies.
You sound
Oh,
beautiful.
I don't sound right to me. I think my head must be okay.
Plugged up.
So, yeah, it must be in some slight way. Okay. I bring the cosmic forces into my being, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my being, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my being, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. Protect me with your white light, the shower of white light that protects me and keeps me well. Help me to do well, and help me to make wise decisions, and to use my abilities to the best I can. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joseph.
You're welcome. It's been fun. Take care.
Psychic Radio, holistic radio.